So, let's see. I think we were saying that Ammon is close by. Yes, so why don't we head over there? We have plenty of fuel to make this trip. And we're trying to catch another side quest or two before we head over to recruit the Warlord. So let's see. First, we have you. We have... I thought that said best at first. This planet is objectively the best. I'm afraid not, though. It's Bast. So a small hydrogen-nitrogen gas giant, Bast and its moons served as the Eclipse Mercenary Company's fallback position after their defeat on Neath. And we have, of course, recently run into some Eclipse, so perhaps this is in and around their hub of operations. Once they had gathered, or well, I mean, Omega is in many cases for many of those groups, but once they had gathered their strength, they leaked a false position to the Nahesit Consortium to lure them into a trap, which devolved into a pitched battle. Both sides claimed victory. Nahest lost more ships, but could afford the setback in a way Eclipse could not. And well, Bast, at least from a resources standpoint, is definitely not the best. I'm actually surprised it has that much for a poor planet. So, well, no thank you. I'm sorry, Bast. Next planet on the list looks like it is this one over here.
I have detected an anomaly.
Alright, now we're talking. So Neath is cold and dry. Neath has a thin nitrogen atmosphere and vast salt flats at its equator. It is warm enough for liquid water to pool during the summer period. The revealed salt is collected and sold to sodium-poor planets for agricultural purposes. During the Anhur rebellions, Neath was a staging ground for Eclipse ships, and was the site of their first defeat, when enemy Nahesit surprised and routed them with a superior force. Some wreckage from the battle can still be found on the planet today. Okay, well, we know we're going to find at least something here. It is also a rich planet.
Status of system operator is not known. General distress. Beacon process interrupted. Translation error. Status of system operator is not known.
Okay.
General distress.
General distress beacon.
Probe away.
Not clear what it's all about, though,
Something on
but
our
we'll launch
sensors.
that. Surface scans indicate wreckage of a merchant freighter, configuration unknown. Damage to ship catastrophic. Detecting movement, but no signs of organic life. Interesting. Okay, so we'll definitely check that out. That is a new quest for us, but of course this is a rich planet, so it is probably worth a brief look here just to make sure that we don't miss on any huge sources of resources, because we might find some here. We might find some here. Iridium, or rather palladium. Yes. Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. That is, that's way up there. That's way up there.
Probe launched.
That was over 3,000. Just over 3,000 from that one probe, so that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. We're gonna equal that peak. It's decent. It's hard to compare to that previous one, though. I mean, that is still quite good. That might be worth picking up.
Probe away.
Still labeled as rich. Let's see if there are any other big ones left here. It's not bad, but we might be able to do better than that. Oh, hold on. Did that go higher? It did start to go. Okay, now that's probably good enough to warrant launching a probe.
Probe away.
Now it's downgraded to good. So now we're probably looking at that being the last probe we want to launch here. And as you can see, of course, we talked about this before. I can make sure this is not like the ridiculously good source that we saw previously. Which, to tell you the truth, that's arguably worth using. That's pretty darn good. But as you can see here, just looking at the numbers we have for each resource, as I was saying previously, Element Zero, far and away the most difficult one to get. So we've been trying to make a point whenever we see it pop up on our scans to make a point of picking it up. It is, of course, by extension, also going to be the one that we need the least of, but it is just noteworthy. Okay, so let's take a look at our journal entry that we just got from that, and then we'll look to land. Let's see what we learned here. So it looks like it's the wrecked merchant freighter, I believe. Scans indicate the presence of a wrecked merchant freighter on planet Neath. Movement was detected on the planet's surface, but no signs of organic life. No signs of organic life. Inorganic life? What? What's that supposed to mean? Land on the planet and investigate the wreckage of the merchant freighter. Okay. A little odd. But sure. Let's save. Then hop in. And we'll land. But hard to tell what we ought to expect here. No signs of organic life. Does that mean you remember this mission? I might remember this one. The description is throwing me off a little bit, but I might have a sense of what this is all about. The organic life is just a really weird way of describing that, though. So does that mean that we should be going with a more tech-oriented, anti-mech and synthetic type team? Or does that mean that maybe there is life, but it's just not human life? Or, you know, the typical aliens like Solarians and Asari that we're used to seeing? So, maybe just to play this safe, we try to take a fairly well-rounded team here. And if we are talking about a well-rounded team, then I think Miranda is probably our most well-rounded character at the moment. So, one with her having Overload, good against shields, Warp good against armor, that is a good pick for us, I think, regardless of the situation. Then, other than that, we haven't used Morden yet at all. He is very much a specialist when it comes to anti-armor. So, a little bit hesitant to use him in this circumstance where it's not super clear who we're going with here, or who we ought to go with. Yeah, because we haven't used Morden at all. We used Kasumi briefly in one of our previous missions, but we could certainly use her here as well. Yeah, Miranda I think is always a good pick, but sure, why don't we can go with Kasumi again. And we'll find, I think, for Morden, it is definitely best to make a point of picking him when we know more definitively that we are expecting to run into enemies that have either lots of armor or lots of health regeneration, because that is his specialty. But when it comes to other things, he starts to struggle a lot more. Let's see. So when it comes to our skill points here, we recently used Kasumi, so she's all leveled up. Miranda does have a couple of points here, though. So, let's see. We can either level up Warp or Overload, and at least with our current team, we're talking about just for this mission alone, we do have Kasumi who's also bringing the Overload, so we may not need that quite as much, or at least we have another way to supply that Overload, so maybe we prioritize the Warp here, because I think that eventually these are going to be two skills that we, of course, very much want to have from Miranda, because they're both fantastic. Let's try. Yeah, basically, Morden is like anti-Vorcha, anti-Krogan, and he's great at that, but outside of that, a lot tougher. So let's throw on the Warp here, and then that should have us covered. We're, I think, still going to save this last point here. I mean, we could throw it for 1 point Shockwave, but not really sure that's going to make a huge difference here. We might rather save that to get charged as quickly as possible. So that looks good. The weakness of this team is probably that, at least from a weapon standpoint, we're looking at some SMG, heavy pistol people. We're the only ones providing anything bigger than that with our shotgun. We're on Veteran, I think it's called, the second highest, one below Insanity. So I think we're looking to stick with this here. Hardcore then, yeah.
A sandstorm is approaching from the northwest. Proceed with caution.
I don't think this is the mission that I thought it was. I thought I might have known. This is definitely not the one that I thought it was. Okay, let's see. Do we know anything else? Surface of the landing area on planet Neath is littered with wreckage. Whatever brought this ship down did so violently and quickly. Definitely not the mission I thought it was. I had the vaguest of memories of something in particular that I thought, maybe there's a chance that's it, but okay. Gonna lay the land here. Make sure we aren't missing out on anything like refined platinum over here. Anything else you're trying to hide from us back here in the remote corners of this world? And I assume we probably, yeah, don't have a map. We basically only have maps in Mass Effect 2, it seems, on more so sort of like the hub worlds, like the Citadel, Omega, and what have you. This is, just ignore the fact that these rocks are floating right now. Just ignore that. Lots of cover. System status report. Yes, this does give strong impressions of an incoming firefight. It does make me a little nervous, given how, again, our team setup here is maybe not the best when it comes to firefights specifically. Let's see. So, system status report, engineering. Engineering status compromised. Oh, so this is a system status about the ship that crashed here. So, catastrophic damage to primary and secondary cores. Element 0 exposure levels critical. Fuel leaks throughout the engineering deck. Can we pick up some Element 0? That'd be nice. Navigation. Navigation status, critical. Something tells me we're going to be seeing a lot of that. Manual control of navigation impossible. VI control locked out by executive command? Authorization Pratt 43279. Locked out by executive command. Was this an inside job to sabotage the ship? What? Sensor status compromised. Short range sensors offline. Unsafe planetary proximity detected at 0700 hours. So did they disabled the navigation system, which potentially made them get too close to a planet. So they got into an unstable orbit and then eventually started a descent onto the planet. Crash landed there unexpectedly, or were not prepared to do so. Life support. Why might someone want to lock a VI out of a system? Out of a ship system? Come on, what could possibly go wrong? Life support compromised. Life support returning to safe levels. VI control locked out by executive command. Authorization again, this Pratt 43279. What is that all about? Shield status normal. Shield's holding at 100% integrity. No shield breaches detected. That is odd. And again, perhaps implies that it's not the typical type of thing that brought the ship down. It's not just a matter of, like, heavy weapon fire. But perhaps instead, some kind of inside job, like a VI that got out of hand. VI network. Compromised. Combating potential contagion? Is that like a fancy way of saying a bug? Or do you mean like a biological contagion? VI control critical systems locked out by executive command. Again, authorization cracked. What's going on here? Communications status compromised. Damage to communications array critical. Activating distress beacon. So it did activate the distress beacon. But the only thing that was not critical here or compromised was the shields, which again I think suggests that this was not your typical it got shot down by a bunch of spaceships type of situation, but more so there's some kind of internal error that sent this ship crashing to its demise. Okay, so we've got two sides here. This right-hand side, this left-hand side, and I suppose we catch anything over here? No? I mean, this just looks like, this has extended combat written all over it, right? Oh, what do we have here? Where exactly is that? Right here. Have that. I mean, if you happen to have another one of those on the other side, I would love to pick it up. Is it a symmetry type of situation here? How symmetrical? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, as it turns out. I'm glad I asked. Anything else besides that? I mean, we've got a long firefight coming our way sometime soon, I would think. Evacuation order. Right there, okay. That looks like that's next on our list.
Attention all hands. We are on a collision course and losing systems fast. Report to the escape pods immediately. This is not a drill.
Okay. Sure, we've got something else over there. Another evacuation order and a med kit. Thinking we might want to hold on to that medkit just in case. I'm thinking what's going to happen here. We're going to get all the way to the end here, find the ship, and then once we find something there, enemy is going to start showing up in the area that we came from. We're going to have to fight our way back. I'm thinking that's my... I have no recollection of this mission at all at this point. Maybe that'll change, but... Shipping manifest. No. Okay, that's a little bit different. Is that... Damaged mech parts. Ooh, I would like to have those first. You don't mind? For 750 credits, I was hoping for a little bit more, to be honest with you. We'll take the platinum as well. Drown our sorrows. Okay. Never done this mission as a vanguard. Uh-oh. That makes me nervous. Is that gonna mean this is particularly difficult as a vanguard? Rutro. Let's see. Shipping manifest. Reflective mech armor. Oh. 14 crates of reflective mech armor. X6378. Source Jare Station. Erk's facility is the destination. Loki Mechs. 180 Loki Mechs. Source Hanekadar Experimental Mechanics Division. Destination Erk's facility. And 1 Ymer Mech. So the Loki Mechs are the little ones, you know, roughly the size of... They're basically like human form that have pistols or whatever and shoot at us. The Ymer Mechs are the big ones. The ones that are basically like mini bosses or potentially even full-blown bosses, you could argue. So one of those, 180 of the little ones. So, okay, just running some math here, some mental math. And something tells me we're going to be fighting somewhere on the order between 1 and 181 mechs sometime in the not-so-distant future. There is also a lot of cover to hide behind. Yep, as I was saying. Don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is we're going to get a little bit further down here. And then the mechs are going to come flying down, and we're going to have to fight our way back. Wave after wave, and there's going to be like at least one big mech, potentially multiple. Although that did say one of the big ones, so I hope it's only one. And we're going to have to try to work our way back and go cover to cover. Try to make it happen. I'd say let's save here just because we've done a fair bit of exploring and looting stuff and reading stuff. And presumably once those mechs do pop down, because they're definitely coming, we're not going to be able to save and rather not have to redo all that. So there's a security report over there. That may be the thing that sets all this stuff off, because we're seemingly coming toward the end of this area here. Let's nab the... Oh. In case it wasn't clear, probably very good reason for those power cells. Probably a very good reason for those. We might want to save those. We might want to save those. Anything else over here before everything breaks loose? I think we make everything break loose. Where was it? Here.
Trenton, we've got a problem in the cargo bay. Marcus says the mechs in the containers are activating and
Oh, this.
self-destructing. Go check it out.
This is what's going to trigger it all. Signal transmitter. Well, sure. We'll just deactivate it. What could possibly go wrong?
Multiple hostiles powering up at your location. Recommend immediate extraction.
Okay. Recommend immediate extraction, you say? So what is the plan then? Is the plan run as fast as you can? You can't catch me, I'm the Shepherd man. Or do we try to hold down the fort here and fight them until all these enemies hopefully go away? Also, my expectation was that they were going to start spawning over there, but this thing keeps on making loud noises, which makes me think that there's a non-zero chance they actually show up here. Two different... Right, we saw there were two different routes. We can go either left or right on our way back. Yeah, we don't have much in the way of ranged ability here, unfortunately, because we're a vanguard, so we have shotgun and heavy pistol, which is really our best ranged weapon, and then SMG, and then we've got another heavy pistol SMG person for both of our squad mates. So not doing very well from a ranged weapon standpoint. Good on the overload, which is probably good if we're facing a bunch of mechs. So that's not a bad thing. Warp will be helpful at least, assuming we do have a big Ymir mech, or however you say those. Let's activate our incendiary ammo. And we should, we probably are going to want to be on our shotgun though. For the most part. Okay, here we go. Loki mechs are coming. Okay, let's...
They've seen us.
Get to cover here. Alright, and let's make sure that Miranda and Katsumi likewise find a good spot here. I mean, yes, here?
As good a place as any. Taking cover!
As good a place as any, exactly. Okay, fortunately, actually, surprise. Wait, do these guys really not have any additional defensive barriers? Or did someone already shoot these guys enough to get rid of shields? Because I'm surprised that I'm just seeing health here. Make sure we activate our ammo for this weapon as well. I'd like for you guys to all line up so I can blast you like that. Oh, Kasumi, okay, taking it upon herself to go Shadow Strike, sure. Yeah, these guys have armor. That makes more sense. Means we should be warping them. And ammo could become a problem. So especially in a situation like this where we aren't desperate to be shooting this guy with a shotgun. If we deliberately try to make a point.
Nice.
Go with the heavy pistol. Save the shotgun ammo if we can.
Sandstorm activity has reduced visibility to 90%.
Ooh, hello.
Evacuation.
Please go away. Okay. I did not take particular note of if there were specific places to pick up additional ammo. Oh, there was the heavy ammo back there. Might be worth going to grab that. I mean, we do have maximum heavy ammo right now, but it does also restock our other ammos. I mean, obviously we haven't spent too much right now. There are other sources over here we can see, but at the very least, it's what, 100 extra credits? So, all right, let's do it. So yeah, I'm thinking we're probably going to be pretty cautious when it comes to charging in, because otherwise we could get ourselves in a lot of trouble very quickly. So it does seem like we're going to be very heavily outnumbered here. Excuse me, Kasumi. I assume there is a finite number of these guys. That was not the best shot there. I assume there is a finite number of these guys. It's not just a matter of, them spawning indefinitely. But, it may feel like that for a while here. So the sandstorm thing. Reducing visibility. Is that functionally a time limit? Do we actually need to rush through to make it to the end before that reaches zero visibility? The faster we advance, the fewer we'll have to fight. Okay, that is a thing. But do we actually have like a hard cap on how long we have to complete this mission based on the sandstorm progression? Is that actually a thing? Come on, cover here. We're going to be out in the open for a little while. Can you sit down? It's just going to get louder in the background. Oh, you are almost dead. I mean, you could Shadow Strike. Sure.
Now you see me.
Don't think there is, but there's a non-zero chance. Okay, well, you know, only one way to find out for certain, I suppose. Well, I don't like this spot in the least. Can I go back to cover, please? Let's see. I'm surprised they don't have more shields. Okay, let's maybe switch back to the shotgun here. And Kasumi, please do not just hang out right there. That is, it's gonna get you killed pretty quickly. Where's Miranda? Miranda's hanging out back there. Miranda's still hanging out of cover. I mean, like, if you both hang out there, that's, like, not the worst place in existence.
Heading to cover.
In the meantime, we'll blast your face off.
Going dark.
40%, you say? Could charge this guy, sure.
One left.
Okay, let's move in. Again, get rid of the armor. That's up the shot there. See more of them moving in, but let's try to advance. Ooh, I did not realize our shields were already down. That was a risk I should not have taken. Who is this who's still chilling back there? That is Miranda. Miranda is not getting with the program here. Miranda and Kasumi, if you could both take that spot there, that'd be lovely. We need to take a second here. Doesn't seem like that number is going below 40%, thankfully. I don't think. And we can, of course, charge to get our shields back, but I don't think we want to do that when there are this many of these mechs still up. So let's try to get the weakest one down here. Whoops, not the electric damage to just help, right? It's particularly effective against the armor, so it might still be better to go that route. Why don't we have Kasumi Shadow Strike you? And let's have Miranda warp you. You should probably still wait a second here. Okay, Kasumi. I think successfully took those guys out. I think we might have hit both of them there. Alright, then you... Yeah, I have a little bit of armor left, but yeah, you're still, well, no longer at full health. Well, might be enough to finish you off. Close to it. Okay, now let's move in. Get that ammo while we're at it as well. I thought we might have had someone who was kind of getting a flank on this, but maybe not. Might even be able to get a little bit closer here. Yeah, it's still saying 40%. So I don't think it goes any lower than that. Thank you, Kasumi, for taking it upon yourself to do that. Oh, there's the big mech. Okay. Okay, so that's the one we gotta be particularly careful with. Let's get rid of the little guys first. And tempting as it might be to shoot that guy, or rather to charge that guy, let's not do that. Alright, so that's just a base mech. Okay, just want to make sure there aren't any other special enemies of any variety. But this guy does, of course, have missiles. I don't remember if those missiles can still hit us when we recover like this, or if it is technically small enough cover that it is still possible for him to hit us through it. Let's focus on trying to take out those shields. Well, we'll have to find out. Fortunately, it does look like we are able to avoid those missiles, although it's moving in on us. It's not ideal. Okay, it's charging up another one of the missiles. We are almost back in overload territory. And that mech is moving in on Kasumi as well. So why don't we... Let's see, overload does technically have AoEs, doesn't it? It's not big enough to take out this mech. Let's save Kasumi. Ideally. Kinda, sorta. Incendiary ammo, damage over time. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the shields are down. I think it is only... No, there is still one Loki mech back there. Okay, but this guy's obviously at this point, when he's this close, definitely top priority. So, Miranda, with your warp, we'd love to do that. I mean, Deadly Shadow Strike, and give it a shot here. It does seem as though we have him distracted at the moment. Okay, and we can distract him further with Kasumi as well. So, this is looking good. It's warped the armor. It's getting low. Oh, I need to be more careful popping up when the shields are down. Oh, it's almost defeated. There we go. Okay, he will explode. Fortunately, looks like it did not hit us with that. We might want to charge just to get... Oh, no, we're back up to full shields. Okay, let's have Kasumi... Actually, the explosion hit these mechs, it seems. So it can damage their friends, but let's Shadow Strike one of these guys. In fact, we can Shadow Strike the one that's closer. Probably a little bit better, if you don't mind. Thank you. Punch him in the face. Warp this guy. Shoot him. And that may be the last of them here. Did we... one moment when we just casually go back to pick up this med kit that we missed. Dude, didn't we pass it? I don't think we picked it up. I think we saved it initially, yep. Thinking we might need it on a future occasion, but looks like we're pretty much done here. I think we've gotten rid of all the enemies. Oh, no, not quite. But we're just talking basic Loki mechs now. And the big guy is down. There shouldn't be much of an issue here, although, yeah, they're continuing to come here. And as we were saying, perhaps has something to do with the rate at which we are proceeding here, because, of course, we did deliberately retreat before moving forward. Okay, let's, heal. I did not tell you to pop out of cover there, Shepard. Thank you very much. I do not appreciate that. We are out of shields. We could charge you. But there are a lot of other people here at the moment. I don't love how you're moving into the flank, though. You are about to get destroyed nonetheless, though. Maybe that's fine. Okay. Let's see. Why don't we... You're gonna go down anyway. Let's... I don't know if Shadow Strike is powerful enough to one-shot these guys when they're at full HP. We're about to find out. It is. Wow. Okay, well done, Kasumi. That is very good to know. That is very good to know. Okay, this guy, let's work the one in the back because it's just a little bit better from a health standpoint. Oh, I did not realize it. Okay, I take it back. Maybe that is the one that Kasumi was attacking before. Okay. Still this guy here, but we'll continue to move up. Warp ya. Could Shadow Strike again. I mean, between Kasumi's Shadow Strike and our Biotic Charge, we can kind of cover a lot of ground very quickly if we need to. Of course, Kasumi will will return from that charge when she's done with her Shadow Strike. It's a little bit different in that sense, whereas ours is quite literally going straight in and staying there. We are out of shotgun ammo. There's definitely ammo around here if we want to quickly. Okay, this is maybe not the best of ideas. Maybe not the best of ideas.
Incoming.
Let's see. Looks like one more enemy. That's our shuttle. One more enemy nearby, unless that's the one that we just took out. No, there's two of them, in fact. Okay, let's move up where Miranda is here. Three more, in fact. Okay. Miranda is still on cooldown with the warp, but I think that's our best opener against these guys with armor.
Now let's finish you off.
And we did pick up the ammo. Shotgun. It's a little bit of a stretch from a range standpoint, but use this little bit of cover here. Charge that up. Blast you in the face. You did not get blasted in the face nearly as much as I hope you'd get blasted in the face.
Going silent.
Okay, Kasumi is going in for the Shadow Strike on one of these people. I was thinking we Biotic Charge the other, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure that's Kasumi going in for that one. So... charge you. Excuse me. That's charging. Thank you. Oh, there are more than I realized. There are more left than I realized. So do we just get here and return to the north? Yes.
Look right.
We do.
Come on, we need to leave.
Let's ignore the rest of them. So an interesting one. They're still shooting at us, even as we're trying to leave here. Hopefully this thing's got some decent armor on it. But yeah, we took it relatively slow for sure. Especially when we, doubled back for things like heavy ammo and the additional med kit. But interesting one for sure. That is not the mission that I thought it was. I did not really remember that one. But okay, so we found no survivors of the MSV Corsica wreckage. And we deactivated the distress beacon though. We gained 125 experience, and it's not quite enough for us to level there, but I think we're getting very close to it. Got a decent number of credits just from Cerberus, although we didn't really find much in the way of credits from the people we looted there. And a decent sum of platinum as well. Okay, so
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
we have a message that may or may not be related to that. Let's see. That mission that we most recently did. MSV Corsica, that is the one that we just did. Last known docking coordinates. From Edie. Information acquired. Location coordinates, Jare Station, Strabo System, Eagle Nebula. Data mining confirms that the last reported location of the merchant freighter MSV Corsica as the Jare Station in the Strabo System. Possibility exists that the clues pertaining to the anomaly that caused the mass malfunction of the mechs aboard Corsica can be found aboard Jare Station. Interesting. So that would suggest that this first mission that we just did is, well, the first of potentially several that build off one another. So, okay, we'll have to keep an eye out for that then. And we do get a new quest update to investigate an abandoned station. Let's check it out. That mission, in theory, was on the difficult side just because of the sheer number of enemies was certainly up there. And one pretty big mech. So that could mean that subsequent missions that are based off this one could be more difficult still. Let's see, Jare Station, Strabo System, Eagle Nebula, appears to be under high security lockdown by its resident VI. The station was the last known docking location for the MSV Corsica, which crashed on planet Neath soon thereafter. Okay. So we might want to look at that. I'm not entirely sure we have been to that area just yet. So we were kind of making a point of looking around this general area for the time being. But I also wanted to verify. We need 185 more experience to level, which is interesting because most of these side quests that we're doing give us 125. So that means one additional side quest of that same level of significance not going to be quite enough for us to level here. We'd need to do 2 of them. So, and it'd be great if we could make that happen before we go to our next main quest mission, because of course, just getting a little more powerful before the next main quest mission would be great. Yeah, that's a good point. So if you're playing as an infiltrator where you can use your tactical cloak to just go invisible, that can, I'm sure, be a very different type of mission where you can just cloak, snipe some people if you want, but you can cloak and then just run through and rush straight for the extraction if you'd like. Whereas we definitely took a more slow and steady approach. Okay, interesting. So, I think first and foremost, let's take a look around here and see what else is in this area, because we happen to find a mission in here, yes. But we did not even explore... Oh. In fact, we went straight into Neath. There are still some planets in this system that we've not yet seen. So let's look at that before we carry on here. We have Unhor, a garden world, which does sometimes mean Element Zero, with heavy populations of humans and Batarians. Okay. Honor was home to one of the ugliest violations of sapient rights in modern human history. Fantastic. A consortium of corporations and corrupt politicians, fearing Batarian economic competition due to their custom of legal slavery, passed a resolution that abolished the minimum wage, effectively re-legalizing slavery on human-dominated world. Opponents of the motion quickly turned to activism and violence. A civil war erupted as one side sought to end slavery throughout the system, and another, primarily Batarian faction, called the Naheset, which we did hear about previously, sought to keep the slaves they had. The Anhur rebellions raged from 2176 to 2178. The Naheset had a significant advantage in ships, labor, and weapons, forcing the Anhur militias to hire mercenary companies to even the odds. In the end, the abolitionists won out, though at the cost of much of their infrastructure. Though Anhur today still has significant natural wealth, it is economically depressed, save for the reconstruction industry. And it has a... Whoa! Wait, hold on. That's a huge population. Wow, okay. Interesting. Very big, 208 million. So, wow. I mean, it was saying that it was previously a more significant settlement, but even now, that's a pretty sizable chunk. Let's scan it. It is rich, and as I was saying, given the post-garden world description, that is sometimes something that we see that can indicate EZO, although just rich in general means that we might find some nice sources of other materials. I mean, that's certainly good. I think that might be good enough to warrant it. For a second, like, when we were over here, I was like, nah, maybe not quite, but that's probably good enough. Get a little bit better. Actually, that is a little bit of Element Zero as well. Tiny bit there.
Probe launched.
Tiny little bit of Element Zero. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that, because that is probably the thing that is most of interest to us. I mean, unless we happen to find, you know, a humongous source of something else, but I started to see a little bit of an Element Zero source there. Come on, no, not you. You. It's kind of hiding in these other places where there are other resources. Like, that's just, it's not really big enough to be of any particular significance. Is the problem. Love to get this as well. Like, every time we're seeing spikes of other resources, we're seeing a little bit of Element Zero, but not quite enough to feel like it warrants its own probe. Oh, hold on. What do we have here? Where was that? Where was that? Oh, okay. Now this is more what I'm talking about. This is what we want to see. Let's go for that.
Probe launched.
This is true. We've not yet gotten Archangel. I'm thinking of our initial list of people that we are going to recruit. He's probably going to be our last. Of course, there's something to be said for the convenience of just being on Omega, so, you know, doing all the Omega stuff at the same time. But try to power up a little bit before we go back to do that. But we'll be there soon. We'll be there soon.
Probe launched.
I know. And we'll get him soon enough. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ooh. That's not bad. Not bad. Good enough. That probably is. That probably is. We are running out of probes big time, though. So I think we launch this one, and then we've got to call it a day on this planet. Kind of hoping that this, goes down to good to further justify us saying, yeah, that's enough. Okay. Cool. Because we still have a couple of planets left here. So in some ways, we're hoping these are not particularly good planets from a resource standpoint, because otherwise we may not have the probes to actually do stuff there. Hydrogen-nitrogen gas giant believed to be an extrasolar capture, Sobek's low-gene moons were the sites of many Batarian labor camps during the Anhur rebellions, generating raw materials for the war. When the slaves were finally liberated by Eclipse, the mercenaries found abysmal conditions, including war camps that lacked mass effect fields to keep the gravity at habitable levels. Widespread bone loss among the slaves was part of their master's final degradation. It would cripple them if they ever left for a standard gravity world. The plight of the slaves soon garnered galactic media attention, and several charities sprang up to pay for their physical therapy and find them gainful employment. Eclipse, normally reviled for their cutthroat tactics and criminal employees, found themselves painted as heroes. That is interesting to hear. So it was basically humans against Batarians, and we heard about Eclipse being involved as well, and it sounds like the humans had to bring in mercenaries in order to win this effort, and the mercenaries they brought in were presumably Eclipse mercenaries, and so the Eclipse mercenaries were working to free the slaves, so in that way, yeah, it was good publicity for them. The mercenary company still retains an office on Sobek's moon, Hecate, out of nostalgia as much as a business strategy. Okay, so we'll scan this, and I'm hoping it's not rich. Okay, good, it's moderate. Just take a quick look for Element Zero, but not really expecting anything, I don't think. And of course, with only 3 probes remaining, we would like to not have to spend any here. That's half decent, but definitely not good enough to warrant using one of our very limited probes at this stage. Let's move in that case to our final planet, which is very big and very close to the sun, or the star rather, at the middle of this system. Hydrogen-helium gas giant believed to have entered Emmum's system within the last billion years, Sekhmet was the site of an important battle in the Anhur rebellions. When the Eclipse Mercenary Company sought to capture the refueling stations to deny the rebels supplies, a fighter wing hiding in Sekhet's rings ambushed them. Eclipse suffered heavy initial losses, but destroyed 2 rebel carriers and forced them to retreat into FTL. This was considered the high water mark of the rebellion. At no point after the Battle of Sekhmet did the rebels have a victory. Today, Sekhmet is home to refueling stations and a small war memorial in orbit at the planet's L5 Lagrange point. Let's see, it is moderate, so probably means we're not looking to launch any probes here again, thankfully, probably, although it does have some Element Zero, and somewhat sizable Element Zero at that, so it may be worth throwing one out here, and then, of course, we'll probably head back to refuel and restock on probes after this, so, sure, we'll do it. Just because Element Zero is, of course, comparatively much harder to come by, and not going to see the huge sources of it, generally speaking. Is that good enough for Warren's probe? I feel like that's a little bit lower than what we were looking at before. And anything else is going to be, low enough that we might as well just focus on getting that from an actual rich world. That's, again, I think it's still a little bit lower than what we were seeing before. And sure, we're getting a little bit of platinum, but at this point, the platinum we'd be getting from that would be significantly less than any platinum we'd be getting on other planets, if we were specifically going for that platinum, so I think we probably leave it at that. That is the last planet in this system. So let's see. We were coming from Ymir, and we were saying that we were going to do, okay, yeah, a couple of systems over here that were close by. I was going to say, did we finish the 2 systems over here, or did we actually just blow through all of our resources, go into just one of them? Fortunately, no, there's still, we have done 2 of them. We have Malgus, and then we have one more on the far side over there. So let's restock real quick here on probably both probes. And we might just over purchase them a little bit here. It's not a huge loss. And then buy some fuel. Because this next one isn't too far away. But after that, there is one that is quite a bit further. Malgus is not bad, but the one over in to the left over there is quite a bit further.